Ladies, gentlemen, I am here with my girlfriend who's late once again. She's always, why are you always late to these
I
podcasts?
literally told you my feet are cold. I'd like to put on some socks, and
All
you
right,
like started
listen,
recording.
you put your socks on. I will do an intro for this episode today. We're going to talk a little bit about Mother Teresa and how she has some badass business, dating, life, self improvement advice, even though she might not seem like that person.
Yeah, and I think more to the point, she gave general life advice or like these very
Yeah.
profound quotes, but a lot of that can be applied to a lot of aspects in life. Like you said,
Mm.
dating, sex, business, whatever it might be, even though she probably didn't have a lot of sex in her
Yeah, I
life.
think she died a virgin. So even if you have no interest in religion, even if you're not Christian or any of that, which I'm not into, religion as much as the lessons behind it. Mother Teresa has a lot of really interesting quotes that apply to self-improvement. So stick around, probably find some of this interesting. If you don't know who Mother Teresa was, she won a Nobel Peace Prize. This happy little woman here, she went over to India, she fed the poor, she fed the homeless. She was personally responsible for like raising hundreds or 100 or something children literally on her own. Like mothers gave up their child to her and said, I don't want this baby. I was going to abort it. Will you raise it? She helped tens of thousands of people. She built like 6,000 institutions across the world in every country, helping people. She did a whole lot. She won the Nobel Peace Prize for a reason, and her main platform was love. She talked about love and giving to other people, which is something we talk about on this channel quite a bit. And we're going to start with this banger of a quote from Mother Teresa. We fear the future because we are wasting today. Right out the gate, this woman just comes out, shots fired. If you aren't happy with your life and you have anxiety about dying or not getting everything done, it's probably because you're not fucking taking action right now. And Mother Teresa was a very big advocate of something that we talk about in this community a lot, which is taking baby steps every single day, doing the tiniest little bit. She literally talked about doing the tiniest little baby step that you can possibly do, no matter how small, and then that compounds and adds up over time.
Yeah, and Mother Teresa, she, like you mentioned, like she had a pretty profound effect on the world,
Oh
but
yeah,
that
fucking hell.
But that didn't happen overnight. And you, Andy, have read basically all of her books, and
I've
you've
read every
shared
single one of her books, yeah.
a lot of them with me. And the story that you've told me about her life and her journey is that it did start small, and she didn't have, a massive following in the world behind her and everyone wanting to volunteer and help. At the start, it was just her who went to Calcutta in India on her
Mm-hmm.
own and just started asking people for food and donations and trying to
Yep.
help people on the street. Like, it wasn't some grand beginning, but it was by taking those actions every single day and pouring all of herself into her day's work. And I think in her way of addressing it, that was kind of devoting herself to God. But
Mm.
I know what resonates with you is the idea of devoting yourself to love and giving to others.
Mm.
That is what got her to where she is. But that was only by taking steps every single day.
Yeah, I understand Mother Teresa is like the ultimate hustler. Like, if you read her books, you see a woman that took the better part of like 15 years to build up to the point that she got to. And then, she carried that on for the next, 30 or 40 years. But this woman hustled like fucking crazy. For the first 2 or 3 years of her trying to start this mission, like she had a vision or a dream of like, I want to go to India. I want to help the most poor, impoverished people and be there for them and show them dignity and show them that they are worthy of love, even if everyone else has forgotten them. I just want them to feel a little bit of love. I want them to feel like they are okay. I want them to feel like someone cares about them. She had that mission for years and years and years, but the people in her church, like her superiors, were like, I'm not convinced that this is the best use of your time. I'm not convinced that you're actually doing this for the right reasons. We're kind of just not sure if you're, fucking narcissistic or something and you want everyone to jerk you off and be like, wow, Mother Teresa, you're so, she wasn't called Mother Teresa back then, but like, actually, no, she was. Wow, Mother Teresa, like, you're so great because you want to go and help people. Wow. Like, they were worried that she was just being egotistical and like she wanted to go save the world and all of that. She's like, no, listen, like, I have to go and give people love. These people are forgotten. These people are unloved. Like, I have to go and show them love. And it took her a good part of like 2 or 3 years of like arguing with the church and like trying to get permission to be allowed to go. Like she hustled like fucking crazy. This is one of the most tenacious people in the entire world. And that's why we chose this quote as the first one. This bitch hustled and she built so much stuff. And like you said, she literally went to India with $0. And on her first day, she had to walk around on the streets being like, I need somewhere to sleep. I don't have anything. I need something to eat. I have nothing but the clothes on my back. And I think she had like 50 cents in her pocket or something. So she had to hustle, get money in a country that was foreign to her, where not everyone spoke the language. And the vast majority of people were not necessarily super open to Christianity. They were, Hinduist and a bit of Buddhism in there as well. And they weren't open to Christianity. That's like a minority. I think like 2% of the population or something was Christian. And so she was like, who the fuck is going to listen to some small, she's like 4'9", some midget white bitch from over there who, came here to save people. Like, who the fuck's going to listen to me? And so she had to hustle and start with one person at a time. And she literally has the best, like, business mindset and ethos that I've ever heard. Or if you're into, like, if your goal right now is to meet women and go and approach them and all of that, that's what this chick did. This chick had to like cold approach people and be like, hey, can I have money? Hey, can I please have some food so I can build a building that I can then house people in so they don't have to live on the streets. And in India, in the poorest, like she went to the slums of India, like literally the poorest, most dangerous parts of India. She went in there and she's asking people, hey, can you please help me? She's having to she's choosing to cold approach people there. So this chick is like the best person to learn from. I'm not even joking when it comes to like cold approach, building a business, giving value, goals in general, self-improvement, making the most of the day. Like this chick was the ultimate hustler. I call her a chick. Like I just called Mother Teresa a chick, but she was the ultimate hustler. Anything you want to add?
No, I think you
Mother Teresa was the ultimate hustler.
passionately established.
Oh, I have so much respect for this woman. You have no idea. Like I've read all of her books. They're just like business books, even though she's not talking about business, but she talks about how she built everything that she's built. So,
Well, something that
yeah.
you said as well is that, which I didn't know and I found really interesting, that I think when she died, she had like over $100 million.
$150 million in her bank account, which she never touched because she didn't want money. She didn't give, in fact, they took vows of like poverty themselves because she believed, how the hell can I help people if they're poor, but I'm living in a fucking mansion or something? So she was like, I'm going to live in India with them. All that me and the other nuns who want to sign up for this are allowed to have is 2 dresses, like 2 outfits, and we can have a bed, and I think they got a pillow, and then they said we can have a Bible and a rosary. Like that's it. And any food you have to go and get yourself, or you have to make yourself. Any money that you need to help people, you have to go and ask for or get donations. So yeah, she had $150 million in her bank account, which she just donated to her own charities and to the church when she died, because that's the power of like giving. People then want to give back to you. So funnily enough, one of the richest women on the planet didn't give a fuck about money, just gave a fuck about giving value, which is why we talk about giving value and how that comes back to you.
And the next one, or the next quote that we like, is peace begins with a smile. And this is definitely something that we advocate a hell of a lot, is basically just putting out positive energy, like expecting that the world is going to be friendly and giving that out first and expecting that that's going to come back to you. Because a lot of the time, if we're going about, and we used to be people that were a lot more negative, you and I.
We used to be
And
very negative, yeah.
if you go about the world thinking that it's going to fuck you over and people are out to get you and nobody's going to be kind, you're only going to receive that energy back. And
Yep.
sometimes the idea of energy and putting out like vibes into the universe, it can sound a bit like hippy dippy, but a more logical way to put it is that if you think the world is going to fuck you, you're not going to be kind, you're not going to be generous, you're not going to give, you're not going to be friendly. And then when when other people in society are seeing an unfriendly, grumpy, closed off person, they're then not going to want to give out their happy energy. They're like, oh, that's a grumpy person, let's avoid them. And so all of the happy people and be like, oh, I'm not really attracted to this person. And then you're probably just going to attract in more grumpy people, people that want to start an argument with me or are going to like feed off your own negativity and agree with you and tell you that the world sucks and things aren't fair and people aren't kind. And so if it talks about peace, it's not just like the idea of world peace or everyone in like society being more peaceful, but your own peace.
Your own inner peace, yeah.
Yeah, begins with giving that out
Yeah.
and being more friendly and offering a smile and offering that vulnerability and then trusting that that's going to be returned to you.
Yeah, so many times someone will say to me, like a coaching client or someone, one of you in the YouTube comments or something will say, man, I'm not getting what I want. How come I can't get lead? How come I can't get a woman to stick around? How come I can't get more money? How come I can't get more views? How come I can't get? And I'll say, well, hold up, brother. What are you giving? And they'll go, giving? What do you mean? Why giving? Why should I be giving something? I'm trying to get. And it's like, fuck out. Jesus Christ. Like, why would someone give you something if you're not willing to give first? You're literally having a very like miserly mindset, like Scrooge McDuck. I'm not going to give to anyone. I'm just going to hoard everything and hold everything and try and get everything from other people. But then I'm expecting that they should give to me. I'm expecting other people to be generous and give me sex or give me love or give me intimacy or give me their time, give me their money. But I'm not in the habit of giving. Like, you're literally demonstrating to other people giving is a bad thing. Otherwise, I'd be fucking doing it. But you should give to me. And it's just wild that that's how our brain operates by default. And that's how my brain used to operate by default as well. And so to those people, I'll say, give. Like, just practice giving something, even a freaking smile. Just practice giving a bit of vulnerability, giving a bit of niceness. Write a list of 50 things about yourself that you have to offer. And then show up to dates or show up to business meetings or show up to potential client meetings with that energy of like, hey, I'm just here to give to you. What would you like from me? How can I help you? How can I add value to your life? How can I make your life better? And then the other person goes, Jesus Christ, you mean you're not trying to just get from me? Okay, what can I give you? And you're like, well, what you could give me is money or sex or intimacy. And they go, I'd love to. Yeah, because you've given me a lot. Let's have a mutually beneficial relationship. Also on this note, or if you wanted to add something, go for it.
I was going to say something that I believe we were talking about it yesterday about the idea of giving and maybe adding a little caveat or maybe some elaboration that when you give, it's not necessarily one to one. And when you are giving, you want to make sure that you're doing so in a way that feels good. You're not giving past what you want to give. If you're giving all you can to the point where it's causing your own suffering, and then having the idea in mind of like, oh, other people better be giving back to me.
They better appreciate that I've suffered and sacrificed and I'm a martyr and this hurts me so much to give.
Yeah, you might run into a little bit of trouble or maybe some cynicism. And maybe, it might take giving to 10 people, 20 people, 50 people before that's very obviously repaid. Like the first homeless person you give money to, I've seen like memes around this, isn't going to be like, oh, bro, this was a social experiment. Here's $1,000. Like it's unlikely.
So there have been times I've given a decent chunk of money, like $50 or $100 to a homeless person, and they're just like, thanks. And then there's that little ego in my brain that goes like, bro, like you should be saying thank you more than that. Like you should be like hugging me. You should be like crying right now. Like, why aren't you having a big emotional response? Mr. Beast has talked about this actually in his videos. He said sometimes he's given away like $100,000 to someone and they just go like, oh, thank you. And then he's like, is there anything else you want to say for the camera? And they're just like, oh yeah, like, thank you so much. And then he's like, yeah. Like, yeah, some people just, not everyone's going to fucking freak out and be grateful that you gave to them.
Yeah, or might just not outwardly express it in such an overt way. And so, yeah, maybe the little addition to this is that, yes, give, but also give because it gives to yourself. Just purely the act of giving is a gift to yourself, not because you're wanting the world to reciprocate.
Well, I'd phrase it like this. You can give if you want the world to reciprocate. It's just not going to be every single human being that reciprocates. So it's more like in the long term, giving pays off for you, but you might have to play the numbers game with giving a little bit. You might have to give a lot to like 5 people before one of them says, holy shit, I'd like to give you money, or I'd like to give you sex, or I'd like to give you something in return. And you go, holy shit, that's the person I'm going to spend more time with because they're appreciative, they're grateful, they want to give in like a one-to-one reciprocal relationship. But not everyone is going to be like that. So if you're giving, don't expect that every single time is going to come back to you. Like, I've mentioned this a million times. I've done like 1,600 pieces of content. If I have the idea of like, every time I do a video, someone better sign up for coaching because I'm pouring my heart and soul into helping all of you guys and you guys should be appreciative of that, I would quickly become very cynical. But I can rely on the idea of like, if I do 30 videos, someone will sign up. Or if I do like 50 videos and give my heart and soul into all of them, someone will sign up. Or, the $200 coaching calls that I do. I just did one yesterday. I poured my heart and fucking soul into it. We sat there for 3 hours. I was exhausted by the end of it. I think he was too. And I coached the shit out of this guy for $200, which is like fucking nothing when you think about that. Like, divided by 3. Like, what is that? My brain hurts for the maths, but
Not much.
$70, just slightly less than $70, 60 fucking $3 an hour, which might sound great, but like for full on fucking therapy, which this was, that's not a lot of money. That's like ridiculously cheap. And I could then say like, man, I need that guy to sign up. And I offered to him. I said like, would you like to sign up for coaching? And he's like, I do, but I want to go try it by myself and maybe I'll eventually sign up. And I was like, okay, brother, like fair enough. I could say like, fuck, man, like I just poured 3 hours of my time and energy and effort into this person for at the place where our business is at right now. $200 doesn't move the needle at all. Like I'm paying your bills, I'm paying my bills, I'm paying Cam's bills to support three people and everything we're doing. $200 isn't much at all. I'm grateful for it, but it's not a whole lot. You could very easily get caught up in the story of like, man, this sucks. Like I poured so much energy into this guy. I poured 3 hours into him. Well, why didn't he give me money? Like, why, universe? Why are you forsaking me? But I know from experience, if I do like 5 of those calls where I pour my heart and soul for 3 hours and give everything I can and genuinely change that person's life, 1 in 5 of those people goes, you know what, man, I wasn't going to sign up for the coaching program. Like I had no interest in it, but like, if this is what you can do for $200, what the fuck would you be able to do for me for $11,000? And I'm like, yeah, bro, like fucking 50 times what I just did here. And they're like, whoa, okay, I think I want in. And so I trust that giving eventually pays off and comes back. And, you know, I get to feel good in the moment, like you said. I get to feel good with giving. The very act of giving can feel good if you're grateful for it and you let go of the expectations that it will immediately pay off, but it will eventually pay off. The same principle applies with like cold approaching, like approaching women and hitting on them and asking for their phone number. You don't expect, I mean, lots of guys do, but you're going to have a tough time if you expect every single woman to say yes to you. Or you think that if you have the perfect little pickup line that every woman will just date you and sleep with you and marry you and happily ever after. You would just be in a world of pain and suffering if you believe that. But you trust that if you talk to enough women, like 50 or 100 women, one of them will go on dates with you and sleep with you and be in a relationship with you. And so you know over a long enough period of time, this will pay off. Same thing with giving. I think we can also talk a little bit about Peace Begins with a Smile. This is my approach anxiety program. Like I literally say, if you can't talk to women and hit on them and ask for their phone number, walk around and try and smile at some of them. Literally start with that. So yeah, Mother Teresa is literally telling you, go approach women. That's what she's saying right here.
And that is
Sort
part
of.
of that's part of why I guess like you said, you suggest if you're too afraid to hit on somebody to just smile at them or give them a compliment or basically show yourself that people are kind and people are
Yeah.
nice and people are going to be friendly. If you go up with good intentions and you're friendly yourself and you begin with a smile yourself, the world almost all of the time does return that smile. So we're
Yeah.
talking about giving, but if you give in a very small sense, like if you smile at people, the majority of people smile back
Yeah.
at
Hell
you.
yeah. Yeah.
And that's what peace is that can brighten somebody's day as well as your
And
own.
your own. Yeah. Yeah. And she actually has a lot of quotes about smiling. Like it was something that she was very, very, very passionate about and said was like very important. So here's another one. Let us always meet each other with a smile, for the smile is the beginning of love. And what she means there is like love comes into your life. Like you feel fucking good when you walk around smiling at strangers. Like literally you feel like everybody's your friend. You don't feel so damn alone. So many of you feel so fucking lonely in life, especially you men, because you've told yourself this story that you have to be the lone wolf. You have to do everything by yourself. You can't ask for help. You can't, join my coaching program. You can't go on a forum and ask other people for help. You can't have buddies. You can't have wingmen. It has to be you versus the world. You have to be some fucking Sigma male, on that Sigma male grind set. And you feel like the outside world is your enemy. You feel like women are the other, like the thing to be conquered, rather than potential teammates who could help you get what you want and you help them get what they want. Like, if you can go around smiling at people, you start to realize, wait, everyone's pretty fucking friendly. Like 95% of people are pretty fucking nice and they'll smile back at you if you smile first. Some people won't, that's okay. And so smiling is like the entry, like the baby step into realizing that other people can be your friend. A stranger is just a friend you haven't met yet.
Mm. Yeah, very much so. And this ties in, I think, very nicely to the other quote about giving love and kind of sharing that and how that then comes back to you.
Yeah.
Some people come in our life as blessings, some come in your life as lessons, which is kind yeah, it is kind of amusing, kind of cute of like some people add a lot and like are a joy to be around, and basically some people will test you, but that can be a good thing in disguise. And it's
Mm,
actually something that you mention in your Play to Win video course,
yep.
in which you talk about there's a chapter on everything that happens to me is good.
Yep.
And I feel like that's another way of rephrasing this,
Mm,
that obviously some things are very obviously a positive addition to your life, and the things that you might call challenges or struggles, if you're able to turn that around and see the lesson and see the value and see the opportunity in every situation, it can also be a good thing. And I feel like that's the essence of what this quote is saying, or at least what I take away from it, is
mm.
that even people that challenge you, they can add so much to your life. Maybe not from what they're giving you or the energy that they're putting out, but from what you can take away from your interactions with them.
Yeah, it's like if I literally had this conversation with someone this morning in my coaching group who was organizing a date with a woman and she ended up flaking and was feeling really down about it, really depressed about it. And I said, "What can you learn from this? What's the takeaway lesson here?" And he ended up realizing, oh shit, like I was so attached to meeting her. That's what's caused me suffering. It's not that she didn't meet me. What do I give a fuck? I was fine 2 days ago before I knew she existed.
Mm.
Before I talked to her, I was happy. What hurt me was the attachment to needing to see her, needing to meet up with her. And so that's the lesson here. This is a test or a chance for me to practice my stoicism. And if you can look at every so called rejection as good for you, oh, this is helping me be more stoic. This is helping me let go of neediness and attachment. This is helping me see that I can be happy even if the worst case scenario happens and someone doesn't want to date me or doesn't want to sleep with me or doesn't want to be with me. I can still be happy. That's a fucking blessing in itself.
Mm.
If you can just stop saying that everything is bad, like if you can literally erase the sentence, this sucks, or I hate this, or it's not fair, or why did this happen, or I'm a victim, or man, how could they do that to me? If you just stop talking like that for the rest of your life, man, life feels so much kinder to you because you don't see things as like happening to you when
Mm.
I'm the victim and it's not fair. You're just like, oh, look at all these cool learning lessons that I get to experience. And Mother Teresa was like the best person at taking the hardships of her life and turning them into lessons rather than complaining. And she went through some tough stuff. If you read her books, you'll be like, holy crap, this woman went through some stuff. And she
Yeah.
saw it as a lesson.
Objectively, she did not have a very like peaceful, easy, what you
Sh-
would call like a
She is
blessed
exactly the
life.
woman who could have been cynical and grumpy and
Mm.
unhappy and been complaining on social media, but she turned all of it into a lesson. Like she is absolutely so resilient and strong. And that's, because she looked at everything as a lesson rather than like, this sucks.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, like you could probably guess that going, not speaking the language, not sharing the dominant religion in one of the poorest countries, in the poorest areas in that country in the world,
Hmm.
going in there with nothing and starting off by like having to ask people for stuff. Like it's not necessarily easy
She was
beginnings.
playing life on hard mode. Holy fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not as if everyone was just, pouring money and love towards
No,
her
people
like they
didn't
were
like her at the start. Yeah.
towards the end of
Yeah.
her life. It was very much like no, like sometimes she wasn't sure if she had enough to eat or she could feed the people that she was trying to look after.
She was in the middle of a civil war. Like there was something like it was called like the day of like bloodshed or something in Calcutta. There was like literally thousands of dead bodies on the street. She talked about having to walk over them and see if they're alive and shit. Like she went through some shit.
Yeah, and like we've said, if you're going to learn from anyone, this is a woman who's had such a wealth of life experience that
Mm,
she's definitely got clearly like from the way that she speaks and some of the quotes that she has, like a lot of wisdom.
for sure.
And the last quote that we'll do for this video is if you find happiness, people may be jealous. Be happy anyway. And yeah, this is absolutely something that could be pulled out of like a self-improvement book
She just had so many self-improvement quotes. Yeah.
because this is very much something if you start drastically changing yourself and making all of these improvements and working on yourself, that can be very confronting or intimidating or just foreign to maybe the people that you're used to, especially if the people surrounding you are maybe like the old version who wasn't improving themselves.
Mm,
If they're like that version of yourself
mm,
where they're used to an old Andy, an old Emmy, and it's confronting seeing somebody change themselves or do things that are a little bit outside of the mold. And so the natural instinct, and I think a lot of the time people that like care about you, they don't have like your family and friends, they don't have ill intent,
Mm.
but it's just this reaction. There's this emotional reaction to like, oh, I don't feel good when I hear that they're doing these things, even if like objectively it might be like getting your health together, working out more, losing weight, looking for a promotion, like dating more and expanding your social life. For whatever reason, somebody's own insecurity might mean that they have a negative reaction to what it is they're doing. And so sometimes without like a deeper probing into where those emotions are coming from, the reaction can be like, oh, I feel bad, therefore what they're doing mustn't be good for them because I care about them. And so if I'm feeling bad about it, it must mean that what they're doing is a bad idea. And that can mean that people that love you or care about you, or people that your friends, people that you maybe trust, might not show you a lot of excitement or happiness if you come to them, especially with like new goals and working on things. And obviously, there's people that are going to love and cheer you on and support you,
Mm.
but it's not unexpected if some people don't meet you with like overt enthusiasm.
Yeah, and that's not even talking about the jealousy bit in this quote. Like, if you start being happy or successful, and those two aren't necessarily the same thing, but if you start being one of those two things or both of those things, yeah, people do get jealous because, that feeling comes up of like, oh, you think you're better than me. And it's like, no, I'm just trying to be fucking happy. There's a really good movie. There's so many movies that cover this, but one called, do you remember that movie, Brittany Runs a Marathon?
Mm-hmm.
Which is one of my favorite self improvement movies of all time. Highly recommend that to all of you. It's called Brittany Runs a Marathon, based on a completely fucking true story that this woman, decided to lose weight, and the way she was going to do it was run a marathon and train for a marathon. And her roommate watched her go through this transformation, and her roommate was like he was in film school or something, and he was like, holy shit, like I could write your life as a story. And she was like, do it then, pussy. And so he did. And his first feature film was making this movie, and it got like really good reviews, like 95% or something on Rotten Tomatoes, like really good score on IMDb. It's a really fucking good movie. And it's a movie solely about self improvement. And there is one particular character, the Asian friend
Like
chick.
roommate, yeah.
Yeah. Who, as this woman starts to lose weight and take her health more seriously and start training for a marathon and start liking herself and being happy and saying, you know what, I'm not going to go out and just get shit faced drunk every Friday and Saturday night to deal with, my insecurity. The roommate, the Asian, like the Asian friend or whatever, starts pushing back on it and going like, do you think you're better than me? Ha ha ha. And she's like, no, I don't think I'm better than you. I'm just trying to lose weight. I'm sick of being fucking fat. I'm sick of like not having a happy life. I'm sick of not having anyone be attracted to me. I'm sick of being drunk and hungover all the time. I'm sick of hating myself. For the first time ever, I actually like myself. But this, friend isn't able to push past her own insecurity. And so she starts trying to pull her down. And she's like, you should come out and drink with me. You shouldn't be like running a marathon. It doesn't suit you. Like, tries to pull her down. And through the movie, eventually the main character goes like, I don't think you're my friend. Like, a friend wouldn't be saying this to me. A friend would be like happy for me. I don't think you want me to succeed. And so they're nice about it, like, but they sort of part ways. Like, it's not a very dramatic movie. There's no drama and dramatization, but they just part ways. And she goes, I think I'm going to be with these new friends that I've made, these like marathon runners or these self improvement people. And so it's literally a movie on self improvement that covers this topic that sometimes people will get a little bit jealous, and that's okay. They're just not super happy in themselves. Same with anyone that would leave like a negative YouTube comment or would criticize you or tell you that you should quit or any of that. They're just not super happy. So we have compassion and love for that person. And then if we feel like we need to or we want to, we cut them out of our lives, or we spend less time with them, or we just don't share our self improvement journey with them. We just talk about like casual surface level stuff.
And I think maybe the other thing that I'll add is it's okay if you do, maybe you're somebody that does feel jealous. I think I'm still somebody that's working through a few major insecurities that I've held on to for a long time. And so sometimes, and you get this too, like sometimes you see people that have more money or are more successful or look better or whatever it might be. And it may not be jealousy anymore, but a sense of, I guess it is like a sense of like, oh, I wish I had that. Or like, oh, I'd really, really like that. And I feel a bit insecure about the position that I'm in. Like that's definitely still a feeling that comes up for me a lot. And I make every possible effort never to like outwardly express that or act upon that. But at the same time, like it's okay. It's okay to be jealous or to have insecurity or wish you're in somebody else's shoes.
Mm.
But you can then like work with that feeling and use that as fuel in a positive way to encourage you to work towards that thing, or even practice like releasing or letting go of that feeling of jealousy and being like, wow, I'm so happy for them that
Mm.
they were able to achieve that. And that's not always easy. Like I think for us especially, I think money is one that we definitely still attach to a lot, and we see people that are very successful or have a lot of financial freedom or even just consistency, and it's like, oh shit, I wish like it would be nice to have that and the opportunities that that might bring.
Mm.
And there might be that feeling of jealousy, but you can just do your best to, I think once you have the awareness of that feeling coming up, it's a lot easier than be like, okay, I see that feeling, but I'm not going to express that or act upon that. And I can still act in a way that is loving and supportive
Yeah.
and kind of like in the way that we've spoken about, like being kind attracts that towards you. So, for example, like if you're kind towards somebody that is like had a lot of success with business or their body or dating or whatever it might be, if you're supportive and encouraging of that person, be like, oh wow, that's amazing, I'm so happy for you. How did you get that? They're
They're
probably
way
going
more
to be the
likely to
person
help
to,
you.
yeah, to
Yeah.
then want to pull you up and help you achieve the same things that they have. Especially if there's somebody like your friend, it's natural that they're going to want to share in that because they're probably feeling really good. They feel supported by you. And it's like, yeah, of course, holy shit. Like, I'd love you to be in the same position I'm in because I'm feeling really
Mm.
good about the success that I'm having.
Yeah, the people that I want to help the most, like in my own life, are my friends who support me and say like, dude, that's so fucking awesome. Like I have a couple of friends that I've been friends with for like 10 years. And every time they support me, like I'm friends with them because they support me, because every step of the way they've gone like, that's so cool, dude, that's awesome. Even on stuff that they are unhappy and insecure about in their own life. Like, my friend Tim didn't always have the best dating life. And when I was working on my sex and dating life, every single fucking day he would be like, bro, that's awesome, that's so cool, tell me about it. Even though he'd only, dated one woman in his entire life, I think at that point, or two women or something. And he'd been single for years at that point, but he was supportive. I have another friend, Jimmy, who even in times when he was struggling with working 3 jobs and trying to build his own business and all of that, anytime I would make a decent chunk of money in a month, he would be so unbelievably supportive. Any of you that leave YouTube comments that are super supportive, you're the people that I want to fucking help the most. There's a few of you that I have in my brain that have just been nonstop supportive of me for years now. You're the motherfuckers that I want to help, and I will put the most amount of effort into helping. My coaching clients, who are the most, I guess you would say, encouraging of my own success, which is most of them, honestly. But the ones who say it the most and go like, Andy, I want you to win, dude. I want you to make lots of money and be super happy. I want you to be super peaceful and loving and all of that. They're the ones that I want to help the most. Probably the best examples of all are people like Cam and Ed and Taylor, my 3 coaches in my program. I literally made them coaches because they were so supportive of me, especially Cam. Cam went above and beyond trying to support my goals when he didn't have to. I was just his coach. And Ravi is probably the other good person that I bring up all the time. Ravi has done like a metric fuck ton of stuff for me over the years, and he never had to. Like, I shout Ravi out every, like, I don't know, 15 videos or so. He shouts me out every 15 videos or so. He's such a wonderfully positive influence on my life. Even when he was deeply insecure and jealous about my success. And he would sometimes even tell me, I'm jealous of your success with women. I'm jealous that it's so hard for me, but I'm happy that you have success and I want to do what you've done. And so that's what you can learn here. Anytime you have jealousy or envy or insecurity, literally flip it around and say, okay, I'm fucking jealous. That's okay. I'm envious. I feel like I want to drag the other person down. I want to denigrate and degrade what they've done. Take a big deep breath and ask them, how did you do it? And how can I do the same thing? Or what can I learn from you? And if they're not willing to tell you that, like, that's fine. Not everyone has the time or the energy, but like, look at their story and go, how can I emulate that? Like, jealousy is a beautiful emotion because it can help you on that first step of like, let me fucking do what they've done. Let me copy them. Let me emulate them.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a really nice one to wrap up. And I think with all of this, I think, like we've been saying, there's a lot to learn from like this woman, Mother Teresa, and she might be somebody that you, if you've not maybe explored much into her teachings or her story, might not think as somebody to listen to if you
Yeah,
were on
because
like a more traditional
you're
self-improvement
like, she's
journey.
just some religious chick. Like, why would I? She was like some Christian chick. Why would I learn from her? It's like because she was a hustler, boys and girls. Holy fuck.
Yeah, but you, Andy, have learned so much from
Mm,
her and passed a lot of that on to me. And I think maybe something that's really resonating with us in our own journeys, especially for the last few years at the moment, is like you can have a combination of achieving a lot and also having a lot of love and just feeling good. I think we're definitely moving away from like the hustle and the grinding and like the I need to like push really hard and basically feel bad in order to achieve these big goals. And rather like I can have so much love and peace in the world and still have these amazing things like material things or,
mm.
you know, milestones or goals that are achieved while being happy, being loving,
Mm.
being peaceful, and having the world give that back to you.
Yeah, gratitude is actually the quickest way to success. Love, happiness, giving to others, helping other people is the quickest way to make a ton of money. Every entrepreneur tells you that. Money is literally just an exchange or an admission of value. If you give a lot of value to people, or if people perceive a lot of value in what you're offering, they will give you a lot of money. If the opposite gender, or if you're gay, the same gender, if they perceive a lot of value in being with you, they will want to be with you. Like it's fucking
Mm.
obvious. We all want people that we feel like would add value to our life. With friends, you want the friends around you that add to your life. And so the obvious answer there is like, wow, make myself into a person who has a little bit more to offer, or just offer a little bit more with smiles, with kindness, with improving your body, with self improvement, with looking better, with taking better Tinder pictures, with being more confident. That's something you can just improve at with practice. Developing a sense of humor, asking deeper questions, being more honest, being more vulnerable, being more open, being a loving force, in people's lives. All of that kind of stuff is just something that you offer, and then people want to be around you. So, yeah, it makes
100%.
sense. But I think we often forget to give because we're so fucking focused on getting. And maybe we'll do a part two. We probably will do. Let's just do a part two of this at some point. Like, there's so many more quotes. She has like literally hundreds of quotes about, business, about self improvement, about relationships.
Mm.
All of her quotes are kind of like universal. So we'll do a follow up. If people want more help with any of this, what can they do? What can these little fuckers do? If, if they want help with their life, they want some Mother Teresa wisdom in their life.
You can reach out for coaching.
With Mother Teresa, but she's dead.
Well,
She died a
the
while
next
ago.
best thing, you can reach out for coaching with Andy.
So you're saying in order, it goes Mother Teresa and then Andy.
Yeah, that's
Like
going to be our marketing
fucking
pitch.
hell.
Which is,
Fucking so it goes like Jesus, like Gandhi, Martin Luther King, like those people.
mm,
I'd put Mother Teresa on that same list. Like that's tier one, and then tier two is Andy.
yeah,
And then what? Tier three is like other dating coaches, other business coaches, other like
yeah,
Tony Robbins is like
yeah.
below.
David Goggins.
Yeah, so you're saying they're below me, like I'm above them. How's that fucking humility going, Imogen?
I
How's
think
that
I think
humility?
anybody that's watching is aware of the silly pitch that I've just made. But there is
Yeah, if you want
coaching,
tier two
and
coaching, slightly below Mother Teresa and Jesus and Gandhi, I will coach the shit out of you. I'll give you 93% of what those people could have given you. They're all dead, so you got no other option. You may as well just sign up for the coaching with me. They're all fucking dead.
well, I think the point with all of this, too, like if all of this is resonating, like if you are somebody that is very ambitious and you have these goals or a few goals that you really care about or things that you're maybe not seeing progress with on your own, we and the coaching program and Andy can help you in a way that shows a lot of love
Hell
and
yeah.
you can be peaceful and happy along the way. Like if you're sick of pushing for years and not getting the results that you want or grinding and not being happy and feeling like you never have enough or you're never good enough, like that is the opposite of the experience that we're trying to offer. We are the last people or the last channel that's going to say like your life's going to suck if you don't have this or if you don't get up and do 100 things today. It's like no, like let's figure out how you can be happy now, achieve really beautiful amazing things, but also enjoy the process and enjoy your life and yourself exactly as you are.
Amen, ladies and gentlemen. I will leave a link to the coaching. Yeah, basically, if you're sick of grinding and not getting the results that you want, there's a better way. And we'd love to help you with that. So I'll leave a link in the description below to that. As always, go out there, crush those goals, and read some Mother Teresa if you want to. She had a lot of beautiful, amazing mindsets, and her books are really fucking interesting.